Welcome to today's 5 Good Minutes on the 10 Commandments. Today we'll be considering the 5th commandment with Bjorklund.
So if honoring mom and dad means explicit obedience when kids are young, somewhere in the adolescent years, I believe it changes from explicit obedience to cooperative compliance. And I don't mean that there isn't a time for obedience and saying, hey, this is what I believe you should do, but good parenting at some point understands that kids are headed for independence and is more concerned with influencing thinking than it is with controlling behavior. This is one of the problems with the authority model. It's made a lot of headlines recently with some shows and things like that. But when Christian parents get into there's authority, there's an umbrella of authority, and if you step out from underneath the umbrella of authority, you're in your own peril, so always obey authority. Well, yeah, that's an idea that has some merit, especially when kids are young, but as kids are transitioning into adulthood, there's not that kind of an authority always seen even in Scripture, and in fact, the big command to parents, to fathers in the New Testament is not to embitter their kids against their parents. And one of the ways that you embitter your kids is by saying, you don't have a voice, you do everything I say, period. There is no discussion, there is no cooperation. And so what is true when a kid hits adolescence, and it changes a little bit for each kid, each season, but is this idea of cooperative compliance, saying we have a goal and we want to get to the same goal, here it is, but we're going to talk about exactly how we get to the goal. And you can honor your mom and dad with cooperative compliance. So, for example, if a mom or a dad says, look, I want your room cleaned, a resistance, a way not to honor your mom or dad is simply to say, it's my room, I'll do what I want. Stay out. I'm going to put a stay out sign on the door. Explicit obedience, it would be clean your room today, period, end of story. Cooperative compliance has a moment of being able to say, look, we have a goal. When do you think is a reasonable time that you could clean your room? Given your schedule, given everything else, what does clean even look like? Can we talk about this? Let's agree on this a little bit. And I don't mean that there isn't a time if the child says, no, I don't think this is clean. If you say, no, this is really what this needs to be. But what I mean is honoring as you hit adolescence really moves into cooperative compliance. And I know I'm speaking more to parents here than I am actually to kids. If you're listening and you're in high school, college, you're still dependent on your mom and dad. Cooperative compliance still matters. So if you are on the take from your parents in any way financially, then being willing to say, I'm still in a cooperative compliance zone is part of what I think is honoring to parents. But parents, what I'm trying to just drive at here is this idea of don't set up your kids to fail in terms of what it means to honor you with unreasonableness, but understand that they are moving toward independence, and you're in this in-between stage where you're asking them to honor you by getting to the same goal, but how you get to the goal isn't probably the most important thing. I sometimes think about this with just the way that when my kids were growing up, that I would interact with them on the lawn. And when they first started helping me mow the lawn, I would want them to mow a certain way so that everything looked the way that I liked it to look. And this is maybe a wrong example because you may say this is a non-negotiable for me with your kids. I hit a point where I said, you know what, I'd rather have their help with the yard, not because I needed their help, but I wanted them to develop the responsibility, but it wasn't worth the ongoing conversation about how I wanted it to look versus saying, you do the lawn the way you want to. You do the lines the way you want. You blow the clippings. You just got to get them off the driveway here, stuff like that. again, my point is just this. As you parent, don't demand something that causes your kids to be in a place where their freedom and honoring you feel like they're constantly put at odds over very small things.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to check out all our content and podcasts on Orchard Hill Plus. You can find that and so much more on our website or the Orchard Hill app.